Hi, I'm Brett Larkin. This is a yin class to get us in touch with the energy of the sixth chakra. It represents our intuitive capacity. Ajna literally means to command. So when this chakra is in balance, it's going to have a positive ripple effect on all the other energy centers because it really is the command energy center. If you want to dive deeper and learn more about each of these 7 energy centers, I really encourage you to check out my free chakra challenge, and I'll put the link to that below this video. For now, let's get started. To begin, we're going to start with supported child's pose. So this is the moment where you're going to want to either have some bolsters and blocks or just start pulling couch cushions off the couch, pillows from the bed. This is going to be the setup. So if you have a blanket, I'm going to encourage you to put that underneath your knees right now. And then if you have 2 blocks and a bolster, you can set it up a little bit like this. So the idea is that the bolster is almost kind of pressing into your navel, and you're going to fold forward. And then again, if you have some towels, or I'm going to grab a pillow from the corner, right? You're going to add something so you have a little bit of something for your head to rest on, a little stack. So get creative with your prop usage. We'll take the head to one side and then the other. But you really want to bring the floor up to you so you feel supported. Take a moment now, get your props together. Remember, you want the bolster nice and into the body, and then we'll fold forward. So just take the head to whatever side is most comfortable for now. Let the body ground and settle. Hands can be underneath the shoulders, if that feels comfortable, or alongside the feet and heels. Start trying to tap into your intuitive capacity right now and just see what would feel the most nourishing, the most supportive for you. Slow down the breath and see what it feels like to breathe into the low back now while you're so fully supported. In order to tap into our intuitive powers, our intuitive capacity, we need to get quiet first. So make this child's pose a dedication to finding the silence within the body. In every moment we have a choice to sort of tune in to the noise, the mind chatter, to tune into the space between the thoughts, to get more interested in the negative space, the void, the silence, the pause between the breaths. So let that be your intention here as you melt. And you'll hear my voice again in a few minutes, just cueing you to turn the direction of the head. Slowly turn your head now to the other side. Really give yourself to your support. So notice if you're a little tentative, sinking into your props. See if you can give your weight over to your support fully. Deepen the breath. Slowly pressing yourself up as you're ready. Setting your props aside. The next setup is puppy pose. So for our third eye focus today, we're going to try as much as possible from this point forward to sort of have that space between and above the eyebrows resting on a block or on a cushion. So you may want a block underneath the forehead for puppy and you may not. Hips are over knees. You walk the hands forward and then see what feels comfortable to you. The forehead may come to the ground, but we really do want the third eye pressuring into something. So if you don't have blocks at home, maybe some books. And the block might not serve you, right? So just experiment. And just let the heart melt towards the mat. Elbows can be on the ground or off. Palms are spread wide, but don't worry about activating through the knuckles or fingers. Just let being in this shape be enough. Slow down the breath. And think of your awareness growing in this energy center as you breathe here. If you feel called, you can experiment with bringing the hands to prayer in this position and then taking the thumbs behind the head or towards the shoulder blades. So do a little fidgeting and then pick a place where you feel like staying and breathing. Remembering in the yin practice, we're always searching for our edge, so feeling sensation, but
Not so much that it restricts the breath or feels uncomfortable in any way. We want mild to moderate in terms of stretch or sensation we're feeling anywhere. And you'll hear my voice again in a few minutes. And deepen your breathing. And bring the hands forward if they were at prayer between the shoulder blades. And listen carefully. We're just going to slide ourselves forward into Sphinx pose. So you're just going to let the hips drop. Again, if you were working with that blanket under the knees in child, you could now have it under your hips. And we have the elbows directly under the shoulders, fingers spread wide. So before we put a little pressure into the third eye again, we just want to take the spine into a little extension. So it's not just flexion. So we really have a well-rounded practice. So press the elbows down into the mat. And then if you like, visualize yourself in this Sphinx as a really powerful animal. I always channel or visualize the creatures that are outside the pyramids in Egypt, like lions or cats or maybe even sphinxes. And then think of a huge jewel, any colored jewel that comes to mind for you right at the third eye center, above and between the eyebrows. Take the shoulder heads back slightly. If there's any pressure in the lumbar spine, low back, you can always walk the elbows a little bit forward. In the vinyasa practice, we engage the legs in this pose, but for today's focus, just let everything relax. Too much pressure on the spine, you can just make this less of a back bend. Best you can, keep the shoulder blades on the back so they're not creeping up towards the ears. And again, just think of that jewel between and above the eyebrows here, sparkling, radiant. See if you can feel the energy in the body, gently pulling up towards this gem at the center of the forehead. in the breath. Slowly take one hand and then the other underneath the shoulders. You can press back into a child's pose if that's feeling good, or maybe like me, you just want to take some hip circles now at this moment. Been opening the spine, so anytime we open the spine, flexion, extension, I always like to bring a little circular movement into the practice as well, just to even everything out. Our next posture is Baddha Konasana. So again, you could sit up on a blanket if you're feeling like that's beneficial for you underneath the hips. If you notice when you sit down that you're kind of back on your sits bones like this, that really means that you're going to benefit from sitting on the edge of a cushion or a blanket. Bring the soles of the feet to touch. Now in an active vinyasa practice would maybe have the heels closer. And a lot of times in yin and restorative, we take what's called talasana with the heels farther away. I kind of want us to be in an in-between place for this practice. And then again, block, book. You could also use like a cushion like this. We want the forehead pressuring into something here best we can. And sometimes the cushion actually feels really good because it's softer than the block. And remember, you can combine props. And we'll come into this in 2 stages. So for the first one, let's just find a little length in the spine. Press the elbows into the calves. So know the props that you're going to use, but don't have them yet. Just have them nearby. Press the elbows into the calves because I want us to just feel this length first. Feel the sitting bones rooting down and back. And then it's like your arms are paralleling the architecture of the legs, right? So thumbs at the arches of the feet, fingers clasp the feet, press the elbows into your calves, and then think of telescoping your spine and the crown of your head out of the pelvic bowl. So you're just getting a little longer. And then dip the chin. Let's just take 5 to 10 breaths here before fully rounding. It should feel, hopefully, like you're gaining more spaciousness in the outer hips and perhaps the low back as well. And then we're finding this long line because, again, I want you to think now of the energy that we're sort of opening in the hips and the lower body, moving up towards that gem, that sparkle, that radiance between the eyebrows at the forehead. Think of the energy just shooting up and deepening the breath. It's almost like the energy is just gathering there, especially if you visualize like a gem or a crystal, like many Indian women wear like the bindi, right, at the third eye center. If you visualize that almost as like a magnet and the energy is just attracted to that point, gathering in this space, in this energy center, it's often easier to think of the attraction, the magnetic pull, rather than trying to kind of send the energy somewhere. It's just being naturally drawn there as you visualize light, sparkle or luster in that place of the forehead. And now let's come into the true yin version, completely rounded. So whatever that looks like for you, remember, don't forget to experiment, and remember that it doesn't need to be your deepest fold. Now the whole spine rounds. Hands can slide underneath the calves if that's comfortable, or they can be still kind of holding the feet or your prop, or wrapped around the toes, just whatever feels juicy for you. And if you like, you can say to yourself here as we hold this position, I am intuitive. Really basic affirmation, but sometimes we forget that we have this capacity for nonlinear thinking, this capacity to tap into a body of knowledge that's bigger than just ourselves. That's this expanded state of awareness, sort of the bird's eye view. It's what's going on behind what's going on. So say that to yourself here as we hold, if you like. I am intuitive. Gotta believe it to feel it. Slowly press the palms into the ground. And deepen your breath. Inhale into the low back. Exhale completely. Really slowly press yourself up. See if you can keep the eyes closed. Setting any props aside. And then just take the hands to the outside of the thighs and pull the knees together. Coming into all fours. If you have a block, put that at the center of the mat on the highest height. And we're pressing back into downward facing dog. Now if that feels too active for you, you could do puppy pose again, like we did before. So hips over knees and just extending the arms forward. Otherwise, just so we can invite a little stretch into the backs of the legs, come into dog. And again, it doesn't need to be your deepest dog. You can keep the knees bent. And then the secret to down dog with the block under the forehead is to sort of place the block and then walk forward or walk back to find a place where the forehead can kind of meet the block. We'll do some movement for the first few breaths. So if you're in dog, just pedaling the legs, pressing one heel down and the other. I'm just here for about a minute or so not long at all. And then find stillness. Notice if coming into total stillness in your dog is challenging for you, especially if you don't feel that warm. When we're not using movement, we really need to use the breath to breathe into places of discomfort or sensation. Last couple breaths here. You can always come down early if you need to and meet us in child's. Nice, and then Drop the knees to the mat. Press back, child's pose. You can have palm over palm with the forehead on the palms, or make two fists with the palms, and again have that little gentle pressure into the third eye. Relax the jaw. Gently press yourself up and come into Shavasana, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to recommend a bolster underneath the knees, really setting this up to be as juicy as possible. You can have one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Or both hands alongside the body. As you lie here, visualize this lustrous crystal or gem just above and between the eyebrows. Sense your energy gathering there as you lie. And let the benefits of this practice just infiltrate your whole being. If the mind starts to wander, just repeat that simple affirmation, I am intuitive. Knowing that you can come back to this practice, this space, this hopefully expanded awareness and state of mind at any time just by repeating this class. And reminding yourself the deep knowledge you have within. And slowly wiggle the fingers and the toes. Pull one knee into the chest and then the other. Roll over onto your right side to the fetal position, to a little ball. And then as you're ready, just press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And bring the hands to prayer. And then bring the thumbs to the third eye. Feeling the thumbs pressure into this energy center. Just take a moment to be grateful for having made the time for this practice. For the inner wisdom and knowledge to know that this energy center area of the sixth chakra is a place that you want to explore, a place that has deep meaning for you. And then bring the thumbs back to the heart and know that I'm sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.